Friends, in this presentation, I shall be covering the topic arrest under the provisions of Customs Act 1962. An arrest is using legal authority to deprive a person of his or her freedom of movement. The Supreme Court in R.R. Chari versus State of Uttar Pradesh in 1951 had defined arrest as the act of being taken into custody to be formally charged with a crime. Arrest provisions are contained in Section 104 of the Customs Act 1962. 104 classifies offences into two broad categories as cognizable and non-cognizable offences. But these terms have not been defined under the provisions of Customs Act 1962. Hence, we have to take recourse to the provisions of CRPC 1973. Section 2C of CRPC 1973 defines cognizable offence as one which a person can be arrested without a warrant. Similarly, Section 2L defines non-cognizable offence wherein an officer has no authority to arrest without a warrant. Here also we have offences which are cognizable and non-cognizable, and it can be further divided into bailable offence and non-bailable offences. Bailable offences and non-bailable offences do not find defined under the provisions of Customs Act. Hence, we have to take recourse to the provisions of CRPC 1973, and bailable offences and non-bailable offences have been defined under Section 2A and of CRPC 1973. Based on the above, the offences can be broadly classified into cognizable, bailable, cognizable, non-bailable, non-cognizable, bailable, non-cognizable, non-bailable. Arrest of a person is done by an officer of customs duly empowered by the Commissioner of Customs or the Principal Commissioner of Customs, and has reasons to believe that any person in India or within the Indian custom waters has committed an offence punishable under Section 132, 133 or 135 or 135A or 136, and he may arrest him and explaining him or informing him of the grounds of arrest. Essentially, it means the decision to arrest is taken by the Principal Commissioner of Customs or the Commissioner of Customs, as the case may be, and the subjective satisfaction is that of the Principal Commissioner of Customs or the Commissioner of Customs, having gone through the entire evidences placed before him, and he records it to be a fit case for putting a person behind arrest, and empowers the officer of customs to arrest him under Section 104 of the Customs Act 1962. It is further to be seen that there is a table appended to Schedule 1 of CRPC 1973 which gives you general guidance to determine whether an offence is bailable or non-bailable, cognizable or non-cognizable for all central acts other than IPC 1860. Now, even though this is not applicable to the provisions of Customs Act, but this is required for the purpose of determining in which court a particular trial will be conducted and the person who has been arrested would be produced. To that extent, this table is of that significance. It may be further noted here that the Custom Act prescribes a minimum punishment of 6 months and a maximum punishment of 7 years. Punishment ranges from 6 months in certain cases to 2 years to 3 years, and in some cases it may extend up to 7 years. So the categorization of court is also to be known, and it is based on this table 2 which I talked about. This table classifies the hierarchy of courts. In a case where the punishment exceeds 3 years and is can be inflicted, which will be exceeding 3 years and less than 7 years. It is the chief metropolitan magistrate in the metro or a chief judicial magistrate in a non-metro who would be trying this offence. In case of the offence being inflicted upon the person who has been accused of that is less than 3 years, the metropolitan magistrate in the metro area and the metropolitan magistrate of second class in non-metro area is competent to decide the case. This hierarchy is essential because this hierarchy is on the basis of the punishment that can be inflicted on the person. To that extent, this table 2, which I talked about under Schedule 1 of the CRPC, attains significance. Thank you.